wish to see you proceed. Feed it. Their blood, their pain. All for us.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's really nice.
You can hold it.
What is it?
It's a puzzle. And it's almost finished. Keep going.
So if I solve it, do I get a prize?
I do.
What is it you pray for?
The new Hellraiser reboot. So that's a thing. I don't know why they keep taking everything I love from my past and keep shitting on it. Predator, Alien, Chucky. Actually, I still will watch all the Chuckies even though the last couple ones are awful. And I'll watch all the Hellraisers. And I'm telling you, after Hellraiser 2, there are some Hellraisers that are so bad they could be in contention for the worst horror movie I've ever seen in my life. I'll still watch them. There's one horror, I don't remember which Hellraiser it was, but it was so fucking bad. It was almost as bad as Dead Island, what I think might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Because I remember I watched Dead Island, I played the video game, it was like a shooter game. And that was a horror game, and that shit was the worst. That movie was so fucking bad. I don't understand how it got made. But, yeah, so Hellraiser is really weird to me because I remember being a kid and I watched it by myself and I remember not really understanding the Cenobites. Those are what they call the bad guys, like what Hellraiser is. I didn't understand how they were so happy to fucking want to fuck people up and be like, man, the things I'm going to show you and how tight it's going to be and shit. And I was like, as a little kid, I was like, I don't really get this because I never seen another horror movie except for Candyman where the bad guy is essentially like, hey dude, like you brought me here and let's go on this trip. You know what this shit is, and you're like, oh shit. So yeah, basically, this new Pinhead, they don't call her Pinhead, is a trans actress, which I'm not tripping about that, but it's interesting because the thing about the Cenobites is they always try and coax you into coming instead of trying to harm you into coming. And I think that's pretty interesting. So her being like a androgynous type man-woman type thing, it's kind of interesting. If you're a freaky ass dude, you might be like, oh shit, like let's see what this bitch is talking about. So but yeah, it's a reboot of the 1987 classic by Clive Barker. In this one, a young woman struggling with addiction comes into possession of an ancient puzzle box, unaware it's a gateway to another dimension, and that it summons Cenobites, basically a group of like these crazy things that look at our view of pain and like torture and stuff is like pleasure. It's like, it's almost like they have it in reverse, like an alternate world where it's all that's good to them, like that's tight. They look at our skin and shit as like a canvas that you could paint it and make rips and tears, and they always want to fuck you up, but they look at it like, why don't you like this? Because they like it. So it's always like a real interesting thing when you look at this world, that these monsters aren't like chasing you, or if they do chase you, they're not chasing you because they're trying to hurt you. They're like, you asked for this. Like they're trying to actually give you something. They look at it more like a gift. Like, hey, this is what you wanted, right? It's directed by David Bruckner, starring Odessa Azon, Jamie Clayton, and Adam Faison. Odessa Azion. I'm sorry if I ruined that word. That her name is Azion. I don't know how to say that. Adam Faison and Jamie Clayton. So yeah, the main character's name is Riley. She's basically, she's interesting. She's like this old drug addict, sweaty chick. She's been clean a little while. She lives with her gay brother, his boyfriend, and Asian roommate. It's kind of like some Brady Bunch shit. It's kind of weird to me how that works out. Basically, she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend's hella funny. I'm not gonna tell you too much about them, but he's actually supposed to be. I feel like he's supposed to be us. Like when you watch the movie, I feel like the boyfriend kind of is like the common sense at first. You know, there's all kinds of little twists and turns I'm not gonna tell you about, but. Alright, so let's go over the good stuff.
It opens up and it cuts you.
Riley's boyfriend, he's funny. Like I said, he's supposed to be us. I thought he was not saying he's cool. I said he was funny. His acting was kind of stupid, but he was amusing me. The Cenobites, it's interesting because the original Cenobites were like more like leather and like sexual. These guys are more like serious to me. Where the original Cenobites, it's like you almost felt like each person that had their own thing kind of had something done to them that was unique. This is the same way too, but I felt like the original one kind of made you feel like Pinhead somehow was into that, and like each one was kind of into their thing. Where I felt like this one was just kind of like random, but I still think it looked good. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I like this. I like some of their outfits or their costumes. You know, it was good. I love the transitions to evil. The transitions to evil in this movie might even be better than the original Hellraisers, because in the original Hellraisers, it would be some light would come out of somewhere, or you just see the chains come out, or a door would open. Where here, the CGI or whatever the effects are that they use actually come into play pretty good, and they have weird transitions to the ground going down, or a wall coming back, or something pulling back, and it's pretty cool. I liked it. I thought that the transitions to evil might even be better than all the other Hellraisers, so I'll give it that. That's one thing it had going for it. Another thing, the use of dark isn't that bad. Like most times when I'm watching horror movies, especially these lately, like these last couple of years, I'm looking around like I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just hear noises and shit, and it's just quick cut scenes and shit jumping out and colors and wind and shit, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So this movie wasn't like that. I felt like this movie had darkness, but it was when it was supposed to be dark, and then you could still see. It was good use of light, basically. I guess because the fact that the darkness didn't bother me, but in most movies it does bother me. I mean, for example, I remember I watched the original what was that? Ann Lee's Hulk Hogan. Ann Lee's Hulk, Incredible Hulk, or I don't know what it was called, the Hulk or whatever. But he fought the dogs, and it was so fucking dark I could barely see it. When I seen it, I had to go watch the movie again, and it was actually a good scene. But yeah, so yeah, the darkness wasn't bad. It was good. I actually like that. I actually love that about the movie, because this kind of movie, it could be so fucking dark you miss half of the shit that they spent so much money showing me. Of course, the chains, bro. I love the chains. I remember when I was a kid, I just can't get enough. I don't know who came up with this effect, but the guy's a goddamn genius. Just have some chains fly out of nowhere and just hit people and just rip shit off of them. And I love that shit. It almost reminds me of the original Evil Dead. If you've ever seen that movie with Ashley and shit like that. It's funny because I feel like they were so broke. They were like, let's just make Evil the cameraman. And he was like, what are you saying? He's like, I'll just run around outside hella fast and you just slam the door in my face. And then I'll run to the window. And then I'll run to the back of the house. And it's like, but then when you watch the movie, you know it's just some dude with a camera, but in your head it's like, it's fucking evil. Evil's outside. It's coming. I love that fucking movie because shit like that, it's real cheap, but it's like practical. And yeah, the chains have always been the shit to me. I've always, even as a little kid, the first time I ever seen them, I was like, man, just stuck in my head. Just chains ripping you, slapping you, slashing you. Just, it's crazy. I love the chains. And the chains in this movie, they don't overuse them. I could have actually used some more, but I'm not mad at that. They could have made it like stupid and just a novelty. Just chains, but it wasn't like that. Okay, so yeah, that's the good stuff, man. Let's go to the bad stuff. Alright, So there's a lot of bad stuff, bro. I'm not saying the movie's bad, but there's just some shit that just they could have wrote better in the movie. I'm not gonna take anything away from the movie. The rating is what it is, but it could have been better. That's why I'm kind of more mad and let down with this movie. It's like it could have been something even better if they just did a little tiny bit of connecting the dots. So, like, for instance, the dude's house is just abandoned. Regardless of what happens later on or however it connects or however you want to see it, you gotta make it seem like people give a fuck. It's like it's just lazy writing when you do that shit. When it's just like, oh, this is convenient and this is this, and if that wasn't there, then the credits would just roll. It's shit like that. So yeah, the dude's house is just abandoned. The box is just abandoned at one point in time. It's like this crazy ancient artifact that anyone could take, even if you're doing anything with it. Just leaving it anywhere just is stupid to me. It was lazy writing. Someone should have thought of something better than that. Anything better than that. This is weird because this is something I hated, but I also thought was funny. The police in this movie give no shits about missing people, investigating suspects. They don't give a fuck. The police come in, they're just like, yeah, we're out of here, bro. Like, I'm like, god damn. Usually you'd have, like, you know, somebody casing somebody, following you, eating donuts, coming out of nowhere. Hey, what's going on? Where are you going? Or you'd have someone, hey, here's my card, give me a call if something happens. You'd have any of that. So I gotta kind of be happy they didn't have that, but at the same time I wanted it because it was like the cops were just like, yeah, they're dead. It's whatever. What the fuck do you want from me, bro? Like, I got shit to do. So yeah, police gave no shits in this movie about missing people, investigating, about following up on investigations. That was real funny to me. It was bad, but it was funny too. So, one really weird ass thing to me, I don't know if this is because she's a woman, if it's because this is a woke movie or something, but no one really gets mad at her. Like, I don't give a fuck if it was my sister. I'm like, I'd be hella mad if she was fucking up and constantly just fucking up. And the reason why she keeps fucking up is because no one's getting hella mad at her. No one's just telling her, like, bitch, I wanted one, like, you dirty this, you stinking, or something. I just want someone to just grab her by the shoulders and just shake her and just yell in her face, like, this is your fault, bitch. So, I don't know why that didn't happen, but they could have really dove into that, like how she's a junkie and how she's done all this before, so like no one believes her because this has happened before. They could have really went easily where the lazy writing before, this could have been lazy writing in a good way. Just write a couple lines of her saying, yeah, you know I used to do that shit, or you know Riley used to do that shit, or that fucking, you know, she'd do whatever. They never say that shit to where you don't really believe what they're trying to convey. In the beginning, first half you do. She's like a sweaty, junky chick, and it almost has Candyman vibes. That's why I really like the beginning, because like in the movie Candyman, I don't know if you guys ever saw the original Candyman, he would fucking kill someone, but then he would leave it to where it looked like you killed them. So as soon as the cops would come or something, you'd be sitting there with a knife in your hand because it was your homie that he stabbed, and now you have the knife, and the cops come and they're like, oh, you stabbed your friend. And you're like, I didn't do this shit. And Candyman would just like jump out a window or something. And I felt like the beginning half of this movie was something like that. Like, I'm not gonna tell you how it exactly plays out, not exactly the same, but it left it up to interpretation, and I appreciated that. I thought that was like a really good way. It had a real good strong start to me for being a horror movie. So like I said, the new Pinhead, her name's not Pinhead. They really underutilized her. She's only in like half the movies. She should have been in the first 10-15 minutes, did some more killing. I understand they wanted to show you other ones, but if you've never seen Hellraiser, you almost wouldn't think she was the main one. Like, because even though she does talk the most, they're better than her, but maybe she's the leader. I don't know. So it's like in the original Hellraisers, you knew Pinhead was the fucking man. Other ones would shut the fuck up. They'd be behind her, and it's like he got the most screen time. He didn't even look the best in some of them. I thought some of the other ones looked better than him, but it's like Pinhead was always the fucking man. I like her. I'm not mad at her. The ending of this movie, I want you guys to let me know what you think. If there's anyone who watches this review, let me know what you think of the ending of this movie, because I was like on the fence. I think I know what it means, and it means one thing, which I'm kind of interested to see, but then again, it could just mean nothing. So I don't know. on the movie scale, I'd give it a 5. It was just an okay movie, but on the horror scale, I'd actually give it a 6. So, you know, my scale of horror, that's actually good because I've been watching some garbage, and I will watch garbage. I'll continue to watch garbage. Like I said, I'll watch all the Hellraisers, including this one, and there's 2 or 3 of those Hellraisers that are so bad. Oh, man. But yeah, so that's about it, man. That's Hellraiser. I got a review for the kids coming up next. I'm either going to do this samurai movie called The Legend of Hank, where Samuel L. Jackson is a cat. He's like a samurai cat, and then Hank is Michael Cera from like Scott Pilgrim, and he's like a dog. It's like a karate movie. If I don't do that, I'm gonna do Beavis and Butthead, do the universe, and I have an 85 Degree Bakery review coming up. Burlap's still moving, so it's just me for a while. Hopefully he'll be back. And yeah, you guys, that's Hellraisers. Let me know what you think. If there's anyone out there watching, fuck you all.